Hi, folks. In the last class, we have shown how to self-host SEC Edgar MCP server directly within VS Code. So you can chat in VS Code to do your equity or SEC disclosure research directly within VS Code. Today, we're going to do something much easier. We're going to use Docker to host the MCP server and then connected this Docker hosted MCP server with Anthropic chat client directly on the machine. So that way you just need to chat with Anthropic client. So you don't have to use VS Code for it. So if you are not familiar with Docker, you should refer to my previous classes. Docker is essentially a container technology that you can use to host certain programs within the Docker environment. And Docker gives you a separate environment from your own operating systems on your current machine. With this, let's get started and set up the MCP server in Docker and then connect the Docker with the Anthropic. If you haven't watched my previous video and don't know what Docker is, you can look it up my previous video for explanation. One sentence explanation about Docker is a company behind the technology of container, and container is where you can deploy your systems and applications within that container, and then you can move that container across multiple platforms because that container has its own operating system and has its own computing resources isolated from the rest of your machine. With this being said, if you haven't installed Docker before, so go to Docker's main website and download the appropriate versions for your experiment. And after you installed it, you should be able to start Docker desktop directly on your machine. So let me start the Docker desktop on mine. Once the Docker desktop started, you should go to Docker Hub. This is where you can search SEC Edgar. And the first one is essentially the one we want to download and put the Docker image onto our own machine. And this is where we can just simply click this button pull. And after it's being pulled, it will give us a notification it's being downloaded. So once it's downloaded, we can go to the image. You will see this one. We have MCP SEC Edgar basically downloaded as part of the machine, like onto our machine already. So in the next steps, what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect this SEC Edgar MCP server that we put on Docker with our Anthropic Cloud Chat Client. And this is where we can use Cloud Chat Client to interact with SEC Edgar system. To connect the Cloud Chat Client with our Docker image we just pulled, the first thing we need to do is go to the Cloud Client settings, and then within the settings, go to the last developer tab. And within this developer tab, you can see it gives us the option to add local MCP servers. So this is where I need to edit config. And then this is the JSON config file I need to edit. So let's open it up. And by default, I'm opening it up in VS Code. And this is where I can edit this file. So what do I need to put in here? It's already given me from this documentation. I just need to copy this JSON file over to edit that JSON file for the Cloud Chat Client. And this is where the only thing I need to update is my name. So I need to put my name and my email address. And this is where, after I did this, all I need to do is to save the file and close it. And at this point, I just need to restart the Cloud Chat Client. So with this, let me quit this application and restart this application again. And now I should be able to directly use the MCP servers directly within my cloud chat client. So if how do I know I already installed this? If you click the tools here, you will see the SEC Edgar MCP is already enabled. And let's double check and make sure it works for us. So let's ask the one question now. So let's ask the same question like we asked in our last class. What is the remaining performance obligation disclosure Oracle made in its last 10Q? And let's see whether my cloud is able to use the MCP server to pull the correct information. And see here, cloud wants to use get recent filing tools from SEC Edgar MCP. So let me go ahead and allow that. Now it asks me, okay, do we want to pull the last 10 Qs filing? So let's allow that as well. And now we're done. So essentially, it's getting a file content, it's pulling the entire 10Q content directly for me through this MCP server that we just installed. And this is much quicker than the last time because last time it was a little bit more manual because we installed the Python files and then restart and start an MCP server directly within VS Code. Now, using Docker, it is much faster and more convenient process. However, it is very important to know how to host MCP servers in Python and also directly in VS Code as well, because that is more practical when you are working on complex projects down the road. So I hope you enjoyed this course. And if you follow my steps here, you should be able to get a free premium large language models that can directly interact with SEC editors. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.